Today we have with us Tarun Mehta, and he has a great experience in mobile app development, especially Android. Currently, he is an SD3 at Swiggy. Previously, he was senior engineer at Airtel Payment Bank, at Paytm, and at Nagarro too. So, no doubt, his journey is really inspiring, and we will learn today a lot from him. So, without wasting any time, hey developers, let's get started. So, welcome, Bhaiya, to our show. So, Bhaiya, first of all, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thanks, Ethan. Yeah, definitely, And yes, you already introduced me. Uh, like I have already worked with, Swiggy, Paytm, and Nagarro. I would say I was fortunate enough, that these many recruiters gave me a chance to, work with this amazing organization and learn a lot with them. And I would say I have around 8 to 9 years of experience now in Android
Yeah.
application development. Apart from that, I also got a chance to work with, React Native applications as well,
Okay.
got exposure of them. Apart from that, I also got a chance, work some on AWS part just for my side project and learnings. So yeah, that was it. Yeah, Sita.
Okay, Bhaiya. That's really great. So, we are coming to our question. So, first of all, I'm very interested that about your Android journey, that how you have started and till now 8 and 9 years experience you have. So, what was your journey till now?
So if I talk about my journey, I basically started with only 7,000 internship.
Okay.
And even I didn't know what Android phone is when I was getting a chance to, work with, okay, you will have to work on Android side and smartphone. So that how it was started. And now here I am working with amazing, company Swiggy, I would say.
Okay. Cool.
And yeah.
So, Bhaiya, when you have started Android, at that time, there may have another stick like React Native maybe was there at that time, and Flutter just new, I think. And so, what influences you the most in the world of Android? So, how you have choose the Android? Why not Wave and this kind of tech stacks?
If I talk about back then, I started in 2014. So Flutter was not there, and
Yeah.
React Native was also not there, what I can think of.
Okay.
And only two was there, Android and iPhone. I would say I didn't choose Android. Android chooses me because that how it basically started. Sometimes, it automatically chooses you, even it's not in your hands. So, and I started enjoying learning Android, and here I am.
Hmm. Okay. Bhaiya, how you have got the chances that web zone technology? Then how was your journey to Quovantis? So, if you want to share that.
So, okay. Basically, Quovantis is one of my favorite. Also, I would say it is also a services company, but it is
Okay.
everyone is my favorite, no doubt in that. But the main journey also, started the Quovantis where I learned so amazing things, like with amazing, developers were there. Where I would say just maximum time I spent there in the Quovantis and learned so many things like React Native. I also learned there,
Okay.
and um,
So you have
like
given
Android.
more than 3 years, I think, there.
Yes, right.
Yeah. So that was a great experience, I think.
Correct. I have, developed so many Android projects in the Quovantis Technologies.
So, Bhaiya,
Some.
apart from Android, sorry,
Mhm.
I have interrupted. You
Oh
are you
yeah,
saying that?
yeah. Please go ahead. I would keep on saying that's fine.
No, no, Bhaiya. So actually, I was saying that you have said that apart from Android, you have explored React Native. Side project, you have explored AWS. So, what you think about the importance for an Android developer? Apart from Android, why they should learn backends, or they have to why they should learn other tech stacks for further growth, and what your ideology behind that? That should only learn Android or only stick with Android, or to grow another tech stack should be learned.
What my recommendation would be, for initially, first 2 years or 3 years, we should stick with the one technology
Hmm.
until unless we get a chance to learn another technology or get another exposure, right? The reason
Okay.
is key once we go in one direction, so our mindset is that okay, now we are pro in this technology, because what happens whenever we give interviews in another organization, you want to work with another organization, so they want expertise in one domain, for
Mm-hmm.
example, Android, React Native, or iPhone. But if you get exposure of another things also, for example, React Native, AWS, right? This is also a plus point, which
Okay.
definitely helps you, no doubt in that. If in the future you want to migrate also, you can easily migrate. One thing is this.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Second is, if you learn another technology, it's basically open your minds,
Hmm.
right? Learn different things and apply these learnings also in
And
your
also we can
Android.
combine them.
Exactly. I'll give you the example. You might have heard the MBI architecture in Android, which has been
Mm-hmm.
recently introduced, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same architecture basically I had already worked 4 years back in React Native,
Okay.
right? Which is basically where we use Redux and React Native, right? So I'm quite familiar with them, and I know what MBA architecture it is. It is not new for me, right? So it gives me, okay, flexibility. Yeah, I've already worked on that part, and it's quite easy. And how they have adapted it in Android. So this
I actually
definitely
have not explored
benefit.
MVI yet, but I have learned, I have heard about that, but we'll explore.
Sure, sure.
Here, till now you have become a senior software engineer and SD3 from Nagarro to Swiggy. It was your journey, and so how was your preparation strategy at that time from Quovantis, that company I again misspelled, so that Quovantis from Quovantis to how from Nagarro you become a senior architect, something like that.
Developer, a
Yeah,
lead team lead, I would say, SC3. Yeah.
so
So
how
yeah,
was
if
your preparation strategy at that time?
preparation is basically I'm always passionate to learning new things, and
Mm-hmm.
one thing is this. Second is major thing you learn while you are working on projects
Okay.
and with the smartest developers you are working with. Actually, you can never learn, when you are learning alone.
Hmm.
How much how
That's
much
true.
things you can learn when you are doing, things by yourself. You can never do.
Hmm.
You always learn things from the amazing developers which are working with you. I would say I am nothing. I'm what I'm here today because of the developers I have worked with them, right? So that actually makes me.
Cool. So, Bhaiya, if someone that he or she want to try to become a senior software engineer in Android, maybe for Android, I am saying. So, if he or she in his mid of his career, so what thought process he should develop to become this kind of stages, that role you are now in that role?
Sure. Sure. Yeah, that's a very good question. I also used to struggle with this question when I was, reaching to this path. And
Yeah.
so one thing is key again, which I also told, one thing you should have a passion for learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
You should never stop learning new thing, especially. Correct. Keep on exploring new things whichever coming in Android, right? You can also you should also keep exploring design problems, especially whenever you will have to design scalable
Mm-hmm.
Android applications or any applications, right? So you should develop your thinking in that direction. Correct.
Okay.
And apart from that, you should always, however, what happens whenever you are working with organization, you should talk to your seniors ki where we can improve,
Hmm.
right? Ki ask them ki review your code, correct? To listen to your
Correct.
approach where we can improve. Ultimately, main thing is just put your ego aside that I know everything.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, put your thoughts that I know nothing, correct? And my subordinates know better, and my colleagues know better, my seniors know way much better.
Hmm.
So this is the thinking. If you develop, you will definitely go ahead.
That's a
Even
that's a
even
great
you should learn
experience.
from your junior.
Yeah.
Even you should learn from your junior, right? If you know three things, he definitely know one thing which you don't know actually,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
right? So you should learn from them also. Ki, okay, yaar, hey, tell me how did you do that, and whatever the experience you have, please share with me.
Yeah, that's a great approach, and really appreciate it. And if we can develop this kind of mindset, then we can definitely grow in that way, for sure.
Correct, correct.
So Bhaiya, next thing that can you share some interview experiences, in you have given many interviews, like you have also selected at Android Paytms, you was on Paytm, now you are at Swiggy, so any interview experience you want to share? So because I in short time I can't say for each interview experience. So that's why.
So I'm not, if I share any interview experience, whether, it would have some copyrights or not, with any companies, ki why you are sharing, interview experience
Okay, okay.
with us, right? So I would say anonymously for every
Mm-hmm.
organization combined,
Mm-hmm.
I can share the experience and what should be the thought behind that, right?
Okay.
For giving any interviews. One thing is, if you are preparing for any interviews for any roles, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So there are two mindset, right? Always key one usually say ki, okay, you should at least try to gain some experience by giving interviews. Ki you should learn from your failure, right? One thing is that. Second mindset is that okay, when you are giving the interview, make sure that you clear them,
Okay.
right? So I would say I like the second approach way better than the previous one. Just okay, let's get some experience, which is not the right approach, because what happens when you work with first approach, you have just thought in your mind that okay, you are taking some experience only,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you will definitely bound to be fail. But in
True.
second approach, your thought process is okay, you will be succeed for sure, correct?
Correct.
Now if you go with the second approach, now your preparation strategies and mindset completely change, correct? Now you make
Okay.
a proper plan. For example, if you are preparing for Google, Microsoft, etc., you just take
Mm-hmm.
a pen and paper, correct?
Okay.
Instead
Okay.
of thinking directly, okay, I'll have to, prepare for, I'm just started preparing. Instead of, just take a 2 days, I would say, prepare
Mm-hmm.
a plan. Ki
Okay.
what, I think what all things I should learn. For example, DS I should learn, design problems I should run. If
Mm-hmm.
I am expertise in Android, then I should also learn parallel in Android.
Mm-hmm.
Set your
Mm-hmm.
timetable, right? And just moving in that directions.
Okay. So Bhaiya, you were saying about the planning and preparation planning. So can you share some preparation tips? So for
Definitely,
senior
yeah.
roles, or I for beginners, I am coming later on. If someone in the mid of their career, so for senior roles, what things they should follow, what things they should learn, like DAs, design patterns. What are the important things and topics?
Senior again comes further, 3 to 4 years of experience, 5 to 6 years of experience, and
Mm-hmm.
more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. So I can tell about my experience level, because above I'm not the right person to say that. I
Okay.
don't have much experience. So if I talk about my experience level, then definitely we require four things in Android, especially.
Mm-hmm.
One is DS everywhere. DS is required, right? I'll
Mm-hmm.
also tell you why DS is required and why some people say ki DS is overrated. We don't usually, apply DS in daily life.
Yeah,
One
actually, it is
thing,
a controversial question.
correct.
Previous
I will
every
also
podcast I have asked this question.
I will also tell you why DS is important actually. Second is if you know going further for Android round, then there is a machine coding round is also quite famous,
Okay.
where companies ask. So they gives you a problem and you will have to uh, come to a conclusion in 2 hours or 3 hours, right?
Okay.
With the working code example.
Okay.
So so for the same also, you might aware I have written a book and I also given some tips how you
Yeah.
can work on the machine coding round. Then third comes the Android round. Same, I have also written so many problems for the Android, how you can, solve those, how you can clear that Android round also. But definitely, I will share also tips here. That's not a part of this
Okay.
interview, right? So if you are coming to Android, right, what you are doing right now is, and when you come to, go to interviews,
Mm-hmm.
for example, in Android, right, there is so many deep things they ask. They want to actually judge ki if you are learning something, how deep you go,
Yeah.
correct? So that you can cover so many cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are not, bind to learn only that particular thing. They just want you to see how deep you can go. For
Okay.
example, if you take example of, there is image loading library which is quite famous in Android, right? They want to see you ki how deep you knowledge. For example, how cache is maintained,
Mm.
how images is picked from the memory, how images is picked from the disk,
Okay.
correct? Ki how memory management is there, correct? Because memory is also so much important part. Just an
Mm-hmm.
example I'm giving, ki how do you know about memory. Second, if you talk about the build time improvements, if you have done any, because if you've done some build time improvement, that is basically beneficial of entire developers which is working on project which save the times, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Securities. So basically what they judge is what you have done currently also,
True.
right? So you will have to done two things here: prepare for the interviews questions also,
Hmm.
right? That is one thing. Second is how deep you know whatever you are doing currently,
Okay.
correct? So that they want to see what impact you can bring, when you will join their organizations. So now the final comes, design problems, correct?
Okay.
So design problem is a very many. So I would say many people lacks.
Hmm.
Why so? So if you will have to, design scalable application, they don't think ki if I'll have to add something in the future, what will happen?
Okay.
If I'll have to move that feature, what will happen with that design? If I'll have to update anything in any feature, what will happen in the design, right? For example, let's consider any networking library, right?
Hmm.
If you add, for example, Wally right now, in the future, retrofit is coming, correct?
Hmm.
How easy it would be to implement or change, I would say migrate from Wally to retrofit. So what is your architecture right now? Can you easily do that? Or you will have to, done so many changes that is impacting entire applications.
Hmm.
So these are, things that you will have to consider while doing that. And these will be asked in your interview also, you know.
Bhaiya, one thing you have missed that you was going to ensure that why DS is important. So you have missed it,
Correct.
I think.
Yeah, actually I didn't miss that. I just wanted you to ask this question
Okay, okay,
anyway.
okay.
Okay. Now why DS is important? DS is important to covering so many edge cases. DS actually, when you're doing DS, you might have noticed that it basically train your brain
Hmm.
to think about more and more cases.
Okay.
When you do lead coded, you just see, okay, if I have not missed one case, two case, three case, right? Make sure that you are covering every single case. Because what happens whenever you are building any application that will be used by millions and billions of people,
Hmm.
right? Because I have worked on it, I have closely looked into it, so I know that even a slightest of cases you miss to, you misses, and
Hmm.
your application will crash to so many users, right? And it will spoil the entire user experience.
Yeah. Code फट जाएगा.
Code for jayega, one thing is that correct. So that is actually important. It basically train your brain. If I
Hmm.
take an example, because this is just a theoretical concept, right, which I explained you.
Okay.
For example, consider an example. You are building something, which basically building a video. Whenever
Hmm.
your app opens and you see the screens, correct, and it's basically comes on your screen. Now, what happen is, if that screen is not being loaded
Hmm.
due to some internet connection, right, and you have given only a single button to dismiss it. What if that button is not working? Correct. Have you thought about all other cases, dismiss cases that can happen? For example, when button should be visible, if button is not visible at that time, what will happen? It will stuck to
Yeah.
that part. So you should give another option also. For example, swipe left, swipe bottom to dismiss that
Yeah.
video.
True.
What what will happen if video is not being loaded? Should you kill the entire view within 3 to 4 seconds, or automatically it should be killed, right?
Okay.
So these are the cases basically which you think when you do
Hmm.
DSA. This automatically comes in your brain, actually, I would say.
Okay, भैया. So here, as you have explained the importance of DSA, then can you please share that how much DSA one should learn, and how much deep dive, because there is a lot of things. And also one thing, one more question I want to ask, that you have told that whatever things we will learn on Android, we have to deep dive into it. So but also Android is also a vast thing, so everything can't be learned in a deep dive way. So what to learn is also a miss that actually how to learn parallelly these two things, and what should be the approach.
I would say that is $1 million question. You know, Why it is so? Because there is some confusion also. If I say ki you should deep dive into it, but
Mhm.
here is also thing, you should not deep dive in every single topic.
Yeah.
Correct. The reason is, if you are going to deep dive in some of the topics, for example, take an example of binary tree,
Mhm.
right? If you started digging it, you can just, there is a no limitation.
Hmm.
Correct. Now
Exactly.
you will forget all the other concept. Correct. Arrays, strings
Hmm.
are there, right? Hashing is there. Correct. Now
Yeah.
the thing is, you should also cover the breadth.
Okay.
Correct.
Like.
You are planning in should be certain way. For example, if I'm learning technology Android, I will go as deep as possible in Android. Correct.
Okay. Okay.
But if I talk about the breadth, I'm also covering React Native and AWS, but I don't know the deep of those React Native and AWS, right?
Okay.
But
Okay.
it is helping some way, to write a good code, or change, widen my brain key.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
how these are working behind the scene. So that's way you should basically explore. You
Uh,
got my answer, or still have any
Now,
question?
one doubt I have here, that you have said that to expand the breadth or in DSA, it means that you are saying that every topic we should have any minimum idea that how it is working. Then some
Correct.
minimum amount of question we should solve from lead code on each topic, and
Right.
uh, and then if we want, we can deep dive as our according to our time.
Correct.
And for your design pattern, this is also a topic. So how we can learn that design pattern thing and all.
Design pattern, first of all, can be learned by practice only, right?
Okay.
First of all, I'll tell you the approach, like me, why.
Yeah, exactly. What should be the approach? That should the question.
Correct. So if you are designing anything, uh,
Mhm.
interview will give you, for example, to design analytics library,
Mhm.
right? Now, before that, you should know all the design patterns also and solid principles,
Okay.
correct? How you can implement these basics in your analytics library,
Okay.
right? And you should have a solid reason why you have implemented this and why it is scalable. And
Okay.
that comes when you know solid principles and the design patterns,
Mhm.
right? So then you start in implementing, and there can be, tons of approaches to implement
Mhm.
analytics library. But if you have go through, so many codes of designings, right, on the
Okay.
open source, I would say, and
Mhm.
how they have designed, and you will get an idea key
Mhm.
how they are doing that. For example, take an example of Firebase, right?
Okay.
How they are doing that. Key,
Okay.
first of
Okay.
all, they use a builder pattern,
Mhm.
correct? Then second, they take a configurations, right? The configurations like some user ID should be there, some email ID if you want, some additional
Okay.
battery data if you want to pass,
Okay.
correct? When you should initialize, they should give flexibility. If you want to initialize in manifest, you should
Mhm.
if you want to initialize in your application or somewhere else, correct?
Okay. Okay, bhaiya. Got it. And same approach you should follow for system design or this kind of thing too.
System design is very wide, I would say. Basically,
Okay.
system design, uh, you are talking system design in the terms of backend and mobile end. There are two different things
Okay.
actually.
Yeah.
One is system design in the terms of when you are scaling the backend architecture.
Mm-hmm.
I am talking in the terms of mobile architecture actually.
Okay. Okay. So, bhaiya, as an Android developer, if we are going for an Android interview, the interviewer should ask the Android related system design. Not that they should not expect. I don't know that is they expect that any kind of other system design we have to learn or just
No,
Android based.
they will ask you about the generic mobile based system design, not
Okay.
only on Android side,
Okay. Okay.
generic
Okay.
mobile based. How well you know how you can scale the application, and how well you can design your any library or SDK if given to you.
Okay. Okay. Got it, bhaiya. Okay. Cool. So here, next question I am coming, that any guidance you want to give for a beginner who just going to start Android or just started Android and want to build his or her career in that. So what will be your approach or guidance you want to give them?
Sure. The first approach I will see, don't think from viewer's perspective. I would say think from interviewer perspective.
Okay.
What he will expect from a 1 or 2 years of experience, right?
Okay.
Because there is a sea of Android things are there, right? And it's
Mm-hmm.
not difficult and not easy to grab everything. Even
Everything, exactly.
even today, I think I know nothing. Honestly speaking, I know nothing because there is so many things. I cannot get exposure of everything at the same time, right?
Exactly.
So I keep asking other people to teach me. So here guidance is कि think from the interview perspective, what they will ask from 1 to 2 years of experience. Second is I have written a blog also on the medium कि
Okay.
how what a beginner should learn in Android so that they can get a direct path,
Okay, bhaiya.
right? Instead of just scattering here and here. So just a direct path will help them.
Okay. Okay, bhaiya. Then I will put that link on the description. So, uh, thank you, bhaiya. So, next question, bhaiya, that you have written a book recently that for the ultimate guide to Android interview. That what was your motivation to written the book, and how was your experience by writing the book at the time of while you were writing?
Sure. Yeah, one thing is actually I've always wanted to help someone. The reason is because
Mm-hmm.
I have seen a phase where we didn't have money to actually get education, right? My father gave me only 18,000 rupees, the only money he had to go and take it and do the BCA, right? And that was my only fees for 18,000, and that was the only saving, right? So from somewhere in my mind, I always wanted to help people, some way I can help it. But
Mm-hmm.
as I was also growing and was trying to help myself, right? So finally I came a phase where I thought, okay, let's help other also. That was the only motivation. So the second is I also wanted to try it differently. For
Okay.
example, many people want ki, okay, if I have tomorrow interview coming for Android, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are so many things, what should I do, what should I go for it, right? So at least if I'll have 80% or 90% of questions which interview will ask, correct,
Mm-hmm.
if I read today in 2 to 3 hours and tomorrow 2 to 3 hours, then I'm good.
Yeah.
And every single thing is on single book or Kindle, whichever you say.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was actually my only motivation to help other people, and everything on should be a single place.
Okay. Actually, where the book is really good, and I will put that link also on the description. So if you want, you can purchase that, and don't forget to review that book. And here, coming to the next question, that is to contribute something for the community. You want to help someone to that thing you have faced. So, Bhaiya, what your thought on community contribution? That why one should do community contribution, and why it is actually needed in today's era of tech.
Correct, yeah. Basically, if you will not give your knowledge, right, then how can someone will learn? For example, if I
Mm-hmm.
not learn from someone surrounding me or from other people, right,
Mm-hmm.
how I will be able to, reach here where I am currently. Correct. So
Exactly.
contribution is a very important aspect, right? So you can contribute in multiple ways. For example, writing a book, like I shared my knowledge
Mm-hmm.
with them by sharing blogs on mediums. You can do that. There are so many people who are already contributing on YouTube channels. They are sharing their
Mm-hmm.
knowledge for
Mm-hmm.
DS and Android and so many other things.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep on doing. The one thing always should keep in mind is keep contributing, even if it is helping to one user of one
Yeah.
person,
True.
right? So this is the reason I doubt a book, even if it is helping to one
Mm-hmm.
folk, right? Then I will find myself okay. You know, the
That's
motive for book
some.
is success.
Yeah. That's a true definition of community contribution, I think, and that's really great. And Bhaiya, at the very end, very last question I am asking to you, and time is also very short. That is, any tips or anything you want to share for us aspiring Android developer that we should follow?
Sure. I would say always have a higher mission. For example, you want to become the best Android developer, right?
Okay,
However, you will never be able to do that because you know that there are so many endless people out there. But you should always have this, mission and vision in your mind.
okay,
Second is don't trust yourself. Trust in God that He will help you out.
yeah, that's true.
Correct, because you might break your trust in yourself, but definitely he will never break your trust. Correct. So, and third thing is just keep on going, keep on moving, just keep on learning things, and believe in, again, believe is the thing. Just you can do that. You will definitely do that.
Okay, bhaiya. Thank you, Bhaiya, for all the knowledge you have shared to us, and thank you for your time also. You have given a lot of time in the weekend, and thank you very much again for coming here. And I will share all the social handles of Tarun Mehta Bhaiya to the description. If you want to connect with him, go and connect with him. Ask any question to him. He is really active on LinkedIn, and you can approach him there. And thank you for listening till now. And uh, thank you, Bhaiya, for coming.
Thanks, Shikam, for having me. Yeah, no, no worries. I'm always here.